We're gonna get into this. So Fat Joe is being sued for 200 million by his former hype man who claims he personally witnessed the rapper engage in sexual relations with children who were 15 and 16 years old, paying for a 15-year-old's BBL and more. First of all, say cheese. This is the gayest photo of Fat Joe I have ever seen. Like, I didn't even think this was Fat Joe. I thought this was a joke. I thought it was AI generated. Then I found out, oh, this picture really exists on the net. And this is really Fat Joe. Now, I do want some more details. So let's do what we normally do. Fat Joe, lawsuit, and let's find it out. All right. The Economic Times covered this. It must be a slow day over there. I'm gonna go with the Independent though. I'm gonna go with the Independent. Let me get this on the screen. Let me get the website on the screen, and we're gonna jump through this because this don't make. Hold on. This don't make a lick of sense. Like, why are you suing him? Like, why are you not helping the feds catch him? Like, for doing wrong. Like, if he had sex with children, and you watched, sir, you're complicit in a crime. That's a crime. I think you were probably messing with some young children too. Fat Joe denied allegations he engaged in sex acts with minors after the claims were made in a lawsuit by his former hype man, Terrence T.A. What is it, Dixon? Born I don't care about his full name. Dixon is seeking up to 20 million in damages. How do you seek damages for witnessing a crime? Like, all you had to do was just leave. Why were you just there watching him be with 15-year-old? That doesn't make sense. 15, 16-year-olds. Fat Joe is song crones minus the Tootsie. What a shame. Yeah. Yeah. Dude is suing. He's suing for being there, but he learned nothing from his 2013 federal conviction. Blackburn continued. We've learned of Fat Joe's 4 months behind bars for failing for income tax. Yeah, I thought it was something like money related. What the heck is this? Close it. Get out of my face. In a statement to the Independent late Thursday, Fat Joe's lawyer Joe Tapia claims it's a complete fabrication. The lawsuit filed by Tyrone Blackburn and Terrence Dixon is a excuse me, sorry. It's blatant act of retaliation. He added the allegation against Mr. Cartega are complete fabrication, lies intended to damage his reputation and force a settlement through public pressure. Mr. Cartenigan, whatever the heck Fat Joe's real name is, will not be intimidated. We have taken legal action to expose this fraudulent campaign and will hold everyone accountable. This is filed in the Southern District Court of New York and viewed by Independent. The 157-page document contained a content due to graphic nature of the claims in bold red font. His hype man for 16 years. Now, him being his hype man for 16 years, do I believe he's seen Fat Joe do something like illegal? Probably so. He probably did. I mean, he used to be, what was it, Terror Squad? Like, I know, and with Remy Ma as well being there, like, I know they did some stuff that was like illegal or like questionable or something that you wouldn't want to do, something that would be considered a crime, sure. But like, to say he was messing with all these young girls, right? After 16 years, and then you as a man are suing him because you were there and did nothing, makes absolutely no sense to me. It makes absolutely no sense. You didn't have to stay. You didn't have to stay. In the lawsuit, Dixon alleges Fat Joe forced him into humiliating situations, including sex acts performed under distress and surveillance, accompanied by threats of abandonment in foreign countries if he refused compliance. Dixon further alleged he was coerced into more than 4,000 sexual acts to maintain his standing within the enterprise. So you had sex with children because he said he was going to fire you. Do you see how I said that in the most plainest of terms and it makes you sound outrageously crazy and stupid? You're a grown effing man and you're telling me you had sex with children because you're going to lose your job. You don't have morals. You should be persecuted. You should be. You should be persecuted. Dixon's lawsuit also alleged he faced a wide spectrum of sexual coercion, psychological control, forced exhibition, surveillance based on humiliation, including being compelled to perform sex acts under observation, being filmed and directed by Fat Joe in the presence of others, tactics designed to control the plaintiff's body, erode his autonomy, and ensure silence. These sex based abuses were not private, incidental, or isolated. They were integral to the enterprise's culture. Oh, they're trying to slap him with a Rico. They're trying to do him just like they did Diddy. Cultural dominance, humiliation enforced by the defendant's associates, such as Pistol Pete, JB, and others, and sustained across numerous tour locations, including Miami, North Carolina, Germany, Spain, Wisconsin. The complaint continued. Jesus Christ. Dixon also alleges that he personally witnessed Fat Joe engage in sexual relations with children who were 15 to 16 years old, listing three Jane Does who, in cash, in exchange for cash, clothing, payment, or of her cell phone bill, would perform oral sex or other sexual acts on the rapper. Three minors, including a 16-year-old Dominican girl in New York, a non-Caucasian a non-U.S. Caucasian female, and a Latina female met the defendant when she was 15-year-old turning 16, according to the documents. Fat Joe began having sexual relations with minor Doe 2 when she was 15 after a concert overseas. Defendant flew minor Doe 2 to New York and Miami, Florida on multiple occasions due to minor uh, Doe's body being adolescent and not fully formed. Defendant paid for her to get a Brazilian butt lift. Minor Doe 2 eventually left the defendant and is married to a professional athlete, the complaint stated. Who is this? Is married to a professional athlete. Jane Doe 2. Who's Minor Doe 2? Is Minor Doe 2 the non US Caucasian female? Married to a professional athlete? Is she suing him too? Documents further state that Fat Joe was in love with the third minor and claimed the rapper thought about leaving his wife. The defendant paid for all minor Doe three's bills and even took her overseas to his tour stops. He brought her to Florida and he would put her up in a condo he rented a few blocks from his house with his wife, the lawsuit stated. In a recorded conversation, minor Doe 3 and her 15-year-old cousin described in detail to the plaintiff how inappropriate it was for the defendant, who was in his late 30s at the time, to be fawning over children. Dixon's claimed that incidents occurred on Market America's corporate yacht as well as its mansion properties where Fat Joe orchestrated repeated orgies involving plaintiff female dancers, and minors. He also alleged that the rapper used his star status to force Dixon and others into degrading sexual performances, often while he watched or directed. These incidents occurred under conditions that included the presence of corporate security staff, surveillance cameras, and defendants' management entourage. Yet no intervention occurred, supporting the inference that these acts were facilitated by and covered up by the broader enterprise and its affiliates. The complaint continued. Dixon did not willingly consent to participate in these acts. Instead, plaintiff submitted solely out of fear of immediate retaliation, which defendant repeatedly demonstrated would include financial punishment, professional sabotage, abandonment in foreign countries, or physical harm. In addition, Fat Joe, the lawsuit also named Pistol Pete Torres and Richard Rich Player Joseph, who were labeled as key associates in the rapper's criminal enterprise. The rapper Jay-Z's Rock Nation is also named, with the suit claiming the company aided in concealing, transferring, and manipulating Dixon's authorship rights and royalty interests, and attempted to interfere with the claims against Fat Joe, Torres, and Joe Spiteri, whatever. Rock Nation represents Fat Joe. Dixon's lawsuit comes months after Fat Joe sued his former hype man for social media slander. Dixon claimed Fat Joe flew a minor girl across state lines to engage in sex acts. Dixon's lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, is also named in that suit. The lawyer told the Independent the claims against from Dixon and Blackburn are a desperate attempt to deflect from the civil suit we filed first, which exposed their coordinated scheme to extort Mr. Ortega through lies, threat, and manufactured allegations. To added, we didn't just sue a disgruntled former employee trying to revive a false claim from 15 years ago. We sued the lawyer behind it all. Tyrone Blackburn has a well documented pattern of abusing the court to harass defendants and generate media attention to separate federal judges from condemnation. Well, federal judges have condemned his conduct. One for filing headline chasing lawsuits full of salacious baseless claims, and another for making repeated illegal misstatements and personal attacks in court filings. Blackburn is the subject of a pending referral to the Southern District's disciplinary committee. Law enforcement is aware of the extortionate demand at the heart of his scheme. He said he is prepared for the legal fight. This is the right way to fight Joe through the system. You can't fight no other way, Dixon told Variety. Joe think he is a god. Joe thinks he's untouchable. I I think some. I'm gonna say this about the Fat Joe stuff. I'm gonna say this about the Fat Joe stuff. Like I believe something happened. I think some negative things. I think some bad things absolutely did happen. I fully believe it wholeheartedly. Full stop. Full stop. I believe it. It's just whether or not, I think if the hype man, if you're saying you did those acts, you're publicly saying out loud you committed a crime. You're saying you committed a crime. You should be condemned just as well. Matter of fact, both of y'all should go to jail. Like that, with that level of confession of that stuff, and if it can be proven, y'all should both be going to jail. Period. Dot. Full stop. Y'all should be in jail. Y'all should be in jail. I don't even know. I don't even know how else to say it, man. Y'all should both be in jail if this is true. But if it's not true, like because he sued you first, then the lawyer needs to be disbarred. That's first of all. The lawyer should be disbarred. And you know what I'm saying? And Fat Joe should be, you know what I'm saying, obviously have to get a public apology from you, and you would have to clear up your claims and state that you have lied on the record. You'd have to state that.